Hello all, Merry Christmas. I hope you're all having a blessed day. Yeah, it's about that time where we're all sitting back down to have that second or third plate of leftovers. Maybe opening up those couple extra presents that we may have hidden away for those, special someones. As we get ready maybe to go out and visit family and friends. Or sit back by the fire and have a nice glass of eggnog. But who drinks eggnog? Does anyone really drink eggnog? But anyway, that stuff's gross. It's basically like eggs and snot. But that's not why we're here. The whole point of today's segment is, last night I provided an expose on the man and the myth known as Santa Claus. His origins. His schemes. But today, I couldn't let it rest. There is more to the story. Not so much Santa Claus, but other seasonal characters that have been deceiving us for decades. That's right, boys and girls, moms and dads. I'm talking about Frosty the Snowman. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I am serious. This expose is not only about Frosty the Snowman, but who he answers to. Yes. Now, let's think about Frosty and where we see him first. A schoolyard, a park, in front of people's homes, surrounded by children. Yes. What is this grown man doing in these places? Look at him. He's a jolly old white guy, wearing a funny hat and carrying a broom. Seems harmless. But why do these children fight with each other and vie to play with Frosty? Is it because he is a dirty old man? Is he doing things to them? No. He's not. Frosty, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, is in fact a drug dealer. That's correct. We were actually giving a stark warning, a detailed warning, by one of the great late country artists. In the year 1950, Gene Autry and the Cass Country Band wrote a song about Frosty. That's right. Technically, this could be considered the first gangster rap song. Yes, I'm not kidding. We're going to review this song, and it was a stark warning. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. This is serious. Let's review the lyrics of this Christmas classic. And we are going to break every facet of this song down. Open your mind. Steel your hearts. Protect your children. Let us begin. So now, let's review. Frosty the Snowman was a jolly, happy soul with a corncob pipe and a button nose and 2 eyes made out of coal. Sounds pretty harmless, doesn't it? But I don't think so. Let's look at those last few words of that first line of the song. And 2 eyes made out of coal. The symbolism behind those eyes is 2 dark black orbs representing a void into the mind. They say the eyes are the window to the soul. So what kind of man is Frosty? He is so soulless that he would actually bring his product to the schoolyard, to the playgrounds, even in front of your homes. He doesn't care. But let's continue. They say that Frosty is a fairy tale and that he is made of snow. But the children know how he came to life one day. They say there must have been some magic in that old silk hat they found. Now, we all know that snow is code for a particular type of narcotic. So if Frosty with those soulless black eyes, and he was made of this snow, they call it. And he was hanging around the schoolyard, in the parks. The children know how he came to life. They say it was some magic in the old silk hat they found. Was that someone's stash? Was that the magic they refer to? Was it a rival dealer's stash that the children found and Frosty took advantage of it? Could be. But let's continue. They say when they placed that hat filled with magic on Frosty's head, he began to dance around. Was that dancing because of he was high on the rival dealer's stash? Or that he simply had the rival dealer's stash and the rival dealer couldn't make his money? The kids just simply liked Frosty better than they liked the old magician, is what they called him. There are legends that say that that magician's name was Parson Brown. For years, many of us in other classic Christmas carols would hear that name and would want to know, who is this Parson Brown? But we now know it is really the rival faction against Frosty. That's right. See, in all these years, you thought this song was simply just a children's story about building a snowman out in the middle of your front yard or in the schoolyard. But no, it's not. It's much deeper. And we have yet to get to the darkest part. Let's continue. Oh, Frosty. Frosty the Snowman. After finding that hat, he was alive as he could be. See, I told you. Was that the excitement because he's finding the other dealer's stash? He was laughing and playing with the other children who found that stash. He was excited. That's right. He was so excited he could do it just as good as you and I. Going out there having snowball fights, sledding. He was so high that he didn't care. He had no idea what he was putting his body through. The kids would just laugh at him and think that he can just keep going and going and going. But it's not true. You'll see. The next few lines, I must warn you, if you easily get sick at the sight of blood or are triggered by violence, these next few lines, you may want to turn away or even mute this portion of the segment. Thumpity thump thump. Thumpity thump thump. Look at Frosty go. Thumpity thump thump. Thumpity thump. Over the fields or hills of snow. Think about that. He's got his broom. Is he chasing down the magician whose stash that he had found? Is he dealing or fighting with that magician? Using his broomstick, his weapons? Beating this magician to a pulp? This is who your children were hanging out with. Innocent Christmas song, my butt. Let's continue. After he beat and violated this magician in stealing his stash, the next day, Frosty knew that the sun was hot, and so he said, "Let's run, and we'll have some fun before he melts away." What does the sun represent? The sun represents the heat, the cops, the men in blue, the women in blue. He knew it. He was hanging around the schoolyards in the park with all these kids with his drugs. He probably gave free samples to the kids too. To get them little samples for free. Get them addicted. Just like every drug dealer does. Here, you can have this first little sample. It's on me. If you like it, yeah, just come back for more. But to see what happened is the local authorities got a little suspicious of this adult hanging around the schoolyard in the parks. Like, what's this old dude, playing with all these kids all the time? So the cops came down on him. That's where the heat is. Because he knew if he kept hanging around at the schoolyard in the park, he was going to get arrested. He knew he had to get the hell out of there. That's right. So, hung around with the kids for a little while longer before the cops got too close to his, distribution patterns, his corners. And then just before the cops came down on him, he got the hell out of Dodge. Let's continue. So when he made his escape, he went over to the next town. He went down to the village. He had his broomstick. He was running everywhere, here and there, across the square, saying, "Catch me if you can." He was taunting the police. Yes, taunting the police. That just goes to show you what kind of person Frosty really is. He didn't care. He was looking for a new corner, trying to find one so he could sell his drugs. But finally, in the village, the cop caught up to him. What'd they do? They yelled, "Stop, you better freeze. Freeze right there. You're under arrest." And what'd he do? He just turned around and looked and said, "See ya, dude. I'm out." Hurried on his way, got the hell out of there. He even told the kids, "Don't be upset, don't cry. I'll come back again someday. As soon as it cools off, as soon as the heat's gone. I'm coming back." That's right. And that's how it really happened. Gene Autry tried warning us. He was no snowman that you build out in front of your house or out at the park. He was warning us about a drug dealer, a violent drug dealer. I mean, all of you can continue to celebrate him, sing his song. But hey, I'm all about gangster rap too. I like some NWA. I really do. You know, straight out of Compton. Woo. You know. So yeah. Think about what you're singing with your children. What you're going door to door singing. Glorifying a violent drug dealer. Yeah, I told you. It's serious. Now you have Frosty the Snowman leaving town. You know, I understand some people, you got to make a living. Who am I to tell you what to do, but when it comes to narcotics, drugs, all those bad things, they foresaw all this years ago, and they tried warning us, and for so many years we just ignored it. But Tony, who is his supplier? Why would he do such things, or try and recruit children to sell or sell to? Well, there's only one man, only one family that would do something like that. Rivals probably the greatest Mexican cartels. In fact, his supplier is probably the world's largest cartel. And it's been under our nose all this time. That's right. The Claus cartel. Think about the distribution, the logistics he has the capability to do. You got your home in the North Pole. Big, huge compound. Surrounded by glaciers and all this cold, barren land. The perfect environment to cut drugs. But you're saying, "Oh, Tony, the Claus family couldn't do it all by themselves." Well, of course they're not. What do you think all the little elves are for? In the workshops. He's in a prime location. Think about this. Every direction that he goes from his home is south. Straight line. UPS would be ecstatic to have a line like that. You ever notice that's why UPS always travels in right turns? Yep. It's the logistics. Only one family could actually distribute like no one else, and that would be the Claus Syndicate. Yep. How does it get there? How does it get there? What do you think Christmas is for? Not only is he delivering toys, he's delivering product. But you guys can choose to ignore it. Go ahead. I'm not. And trust me, next time I see that guy Frosty, I sure the hell am calling the cops. I don't want that in my neighborhood. Yep, when you go out that front door, how many drug dealers you got in your neighborhood? In mine? I ain't got none. That's right. So yeah, that's the story. Now you know. And knowing is half the battle. So I'm going to leave it there, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, small farm animals. But now you know the truth that has been hidden from us for so long. It's just too bad. You try to look at things in an optimist's way, but then when you decide to actually dig a little deep, you find out how horrible humans can be. It's a shame. Ladies and gentlemen, good night, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. See you in the next segment.